Hey guys, I'm Gautam. I'm here at Rockland Federal Credit Union's new office, and I'm joined by Mark. Mark, thanks so much for taking the time.
Absolutely, appreciate being here.
Awesome. Well, I want to start by saying this. You guys had a very thoughtful evaluation for who you eventually kind of ended up deciding going with for your account opening and lending POS. Tell me a little bit about that process internally, and I guess what eventually made you guys choose Glide.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you know, we've been talking to you guys for a long time. It's been a long process, but we want to find the right partner, right? And at the point that we're at right now, we're trying to be ultra innovative. We want to get to the point where we want seamless, frictionless experience for our members. And there were a lot out there like that. I think what differentiated you guys from the rest of them was really just your willingness, I think, to be able to make changes or listen to what we're looking for, right? I think a lot of other products we didn't really consider as partners. They were more vendors. We look at you guys more as partners, listening to what we want, being able to, I think, just help us through the process of understanding what we need better as well and what the members want. This is a big thing for us because if we look at what's out there in the industry right now, there's a lot of friction. Currently, we have a lot of friction with the process that we're using, and we do hear it from our members. The experience that we've seen from your team is really differentiated you guys because of how quickly it's done, how frictionless it's been for what we've actually seen. And the customization of it, I think, is the biggest part for you guys, is really that listening, understanding what we want and being the partner and not just the vendor.
Amazing. Yeah, and I think we truly believe every partnership is two-way, and we were super excited to work with you guys just because of your brand, and we really feel that you guys are at an inflection point right now in your growth. And I think part of that is shown by the project too, right? We went from kicking the project off in early February to now less than 5 weeks later having a fully configured environment that's connected into your core, and now we're kicking off the UAT process where we're ironing out the kind of remaining details. So tell me a little bit about how you guys were able to move so quickly on your project management org to get us here in just 4 weeks.
Well, I mean, it's the culture, right? It's bringing the right team in. Our CEO, Chris, has really kind of flipped us on our head a little bit in terms of having that agile, innovative type culture, right? So bringing the right people in. We just went through a core conversion last year. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But coming out of the conversion, we were already ready to go, right? We were already in shape for something like this, and we have extremely good project managers and just industry experts here. But that culture permeates throughout the credit union, and I think by partnering with you guys, it's kind of a good marriage, right? The culture that you guys have on your side, agile, innovative, and that's what we're trying to do as well.
Yeah. Culture starts from the leadership, right? So
that's right.
Big shout out to you and Chris for being able to establish that. I want to ask you about a topic that is on everyone's mind, AI, right? Shocker. A couple things that I'm curious about. How are you guys leveraging AI in the organization today?
Yeah, so in many ways. I mean, we hear a lot about credit unions putting blocks and bans on AI. That's just not what we are here. And again, that comes right from the top. Chris wants us to embrace AI, use it wherever we can, and learn from it. We have a data analytics team that was just doing data analytics, and they started diving into AI, and they're a very bright group. So they're tapping into that. We're building a lot of internal things. We're working with another AI partner that's helping us with some internal tools, not just chatbot. We've seen a lot of chatbots and a lot of knowledge base type AI products, but working with a company called Quintera that's helping us with day-to-day back office processes. So, taking 45-minute indirect lending package review and putting it through an AI process to see if there's anything missing, sending it back to the dealership, and doing a lot of that checking for us so we don't necessarily have to be doing manual hours. It's not reducing the amount of folks that we have. It's really just putting those folks to good use and not just pushing buttons all day, right?
Yeah.
Making them think a little bit more and be part of the solution for the credit union. And so just repurposing those folks, or just even being able to take more volume in on those loans and those mortgages, helps us down the road. We're doing a lot of that. Our data analytics team and AI team, they're poking at different things, creating little processes, little things that we would normally go out and buy.
Yeah.
We'll just go on Claude and we'll build something.
Amazing.
So it's fun because again, I know I keep saying it, but that culture, right from the top of, if it fails, that's okay. Let's learn from it. Let's figure something else out, and let's continue to do it, and not just do what just the typical chatbots are doing, but actually starting to make some efficiencies within the departments.
Yeah, I love it. I talk to a lot of credit union leaders who follow the same philosophy. This is not an attempt to reduce the workforce. It is an attempt to repurpose them to do bigger things. Candidly, sometimes people get so much of their work automated, and sometimes the question from leadership is like, what should they do next? Right? Like, what is the kind of more meaningful thing to do? So you mentioned data analytics, you mentioned your back office, you mentioned indirect. Like, what are some of the tasks that people are now able to do as a result of the more menial stuff being automated with AI?
Yeah, I think, and we do a lot of indirect lending. So the volume itself is just, a lot of it is coming back and saying, okay, well, all the applications that were backed up for a little bit, those are starting to go quickly. And when those go quickly, the dealerships get happy, right? We want to put more deals through because we know that they're going to be responsive and quick to get back to us. So that's one of them. The other piece is just finding more efficiencies. Like, we found that the extra time that we're getting out of the folks that are using AI are actually starting to think of other ways to purpose AI for their roles and responsibilities, or just thinking about, wait a minute, we've been doing this process for so long, why are we doing it? Can we do it this way? So it's getting them to start thinking about not just, this is just status quo, this is the way it's been forever. But once you start introducing a couple of those things, it just starts triggering all different ideas on how to make the department more efficient. So it's thought-provoking.
I love it. It's like you go from running the playbook, because that's all you'll have time for, to now rewriting it.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where are you thinking about AI next? You guys have obviously made some pretty amazing progress already. What's the next opportunity area within the company?
Oh, as Chris says, AI run organization, but that's a ways away. To be honest, it's a day-to-day type thing. Yeah. We don't have anything fully in mind right now. We have a bunch of little ideas here and there, but those are just going to spawn into bigger ones. And it just, as issues come up, I think AI provides that ability to be agile. So if you think about the old days of programming and system development life cycles and the whole process, you really had to have these ideas baked out. And then make sure that you really have the right idea and get it programmed, or else 6 months later, you're behind, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to happen that way now. It's so quick that you can create these programs. So if you have something on your mind, you create it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things, but nothing that's specific. Just death by a million cuts with this. Yeah.
That's awesome. Last one for you.
Yeah.
I alluded to this in the beginning. You guys are at an inflection point. I kept that vague intentionally, because I want you to define as much of it as you can, really. You guys obviously have an incredible foundation. Large, reputable institution that has done amazing service for so many years.
Yep. But
when you mentioned shaking things up, turning things on their head a little bit, tell us what's in store for the coming couple of years here.
Oh man, yeah. So since this, I don't know, maybe a couple of years now, we've been running, and it's a good thing. We have the right team for it, the agility, like I said. We went through the core conversion last year. That was the foundation. We had to build that foundation. It was a rough year. It was everybody was exhausted, but I think everybody came out the other end of it excited. Like, what can we build on top of this foundation? So this year we're doing a major rebrand. That's coming out soon. Very excited about it. We're doing, obviously, working with you guys on account opening, loan opening. That's going to be huge for our members. We hear a lot about that friction point with that. We need that as part of the rebrand. We don't want to have a new brand and have the same old account opening process that has a lot of friction. We're implementing a new online banking system this year. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of new functionality. I think for our members, they deserve it. And again, that's part of the new brand. To that is adding the new website. It's going to come with a new website with a new brand. We're going to have a new omni-channel platform coming out for our call center. At this point, we don't have chat. We've been waiting for the right tool for it. So working with a company, Glia, to get us to that next level from an omni-channel point of view, because the way we're looking at this is we just switched our charter to a multi-common bond charter. We want to continue to grow. So if we're going to do that, we want to make sure that everything lines up and that the process works and it's seamless. We're introducing some things that have been table stakes in the past, so shared branching and early direct deposit and those types of things. So we're constantly trying to find ways to be innovative, but I think what we're trying to do is really make this tech-heavy, frictionless brand, but also kind of keep that member service at the forefront, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see that a lot. You'll see the Chimes and the SoFis, they'll be that tech-heavy, but you don't really get that member experience out of it that you get with a credit union. So we're trying to be kind of both worlds there, is actually have that technology, but also have that member experience to go with it, and we think it's kind of a superpower.
I love it. Most of those things you said this year, which is crazy how long that list was.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys are setting a standard for the
And
industry.
setting up in the new building, right? On top of everything else settling in the new
As
building.
if that wasn't enough.
Yeah,
New
right.
building. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mark. I really
Absolutely,
appreciate the time.
appreciate it too. Thank you.